Hi, I'm Kim de Blecourt, and I'm the author of I Call You Mine, a 6-week study on adoption. Over the last few weeks, we've not only been studying adopting waiting children, we've also been taking a look at our own spiritual adoption into God's family. Adopting is the best way I know of to care for orphans. However, it's only one part of an overall orphan care ministry. Most adoptive and foster parents have been dramatically affected by caring for vulnerable children. Their advocacy helps their churches and communities become more aware of children's needs. They help shape legislation. They share their stories via media. They even help create new orphan care ministries. These parents are the best experienced to explain why adoption is such a crucial part of orphan care. God's heart for the fatherless can be found throughout His Word. Beginning in Exodus and through the Old Testament, God reminded His people to care for the orphaned and the vulnerable. Jesus and the early church were concerned about children as well. This can be found throughout the Gospels, in the book of James, and in the book of Acts. Even secular historians noted that the Christians cared for orphans. One theologian went a step further and said that it appeared that they had been doing so for a very long time, and that they cared for their vulnerable children differently. They actually raised them to have their own full and independent life, unlike those outside the church who raised them to be their slaves. The church continues to care for orphans still today. I spent my corporate career in human resources. When I was recruiting, past experience often spoke much louder to me as an indicator of future performance than education ever did. The same can be said for us today in orphan care. By understanding our past, and with God's grace, we can help shape the future of the church's role in caring for the vulnerable children of the world. By bringing hearts and minds together within our churches, communities, and our faith, we can collectively ask God to help us reach out effectively to the vulnerable. Our scripture memorization for this week is James 1:27. Religion that God our Father accepts as pure and faultless is this: to look after orphans and widows in their distress, and to keep oneself from being polluted by the world. Your challenge this week is to celebrate being a part of God's family. You can do it with a special meal or even just your favorite dessert. I hope you'll take the time this week to reflect on all God has revealed to you over the weeks in this study. And remember, the church is God's answer to the orphan crisis. Until we have a chance to meet face to face, I wish you peace and grace.